Very good afternoon to all here. So next we are going to see about a second unit. The second unit title is Inheritance and Interfaces. Here we are going to see the following topics: inheritance, superclasses, subclasses, protected members, constructor in subclasses, the object classes, abstract classes and methods, final methods and classes, interfaces, defining an interface, implementing interfaces, a difference between classes and interfaces and extending interfaces, object cloning, inner classes, array list, and strings. See, totally here we are having two topics, two main topics in this unit. One is inheritance and another one is interfaces. So first we are going to say about inheritance. Let me move to the next slide. Inheritance. The main definition of inheritance is the process of creating new class based on the existing class. And the new class contains its own property and as well as the properties of existing class. This is called inheritance. Here, the first point is one class is allowed to inherit the futures of another class. Here, the future is nothing but the properties are methods and data from one class to another class. The next point is the process of deriving a new class from an existing class. I already said that this is the definition for inheritance. The third point is a class that is inherited is called a superclass, and the class that does the inheriting is called as subclass. Suppose if you are having two classes in a program, the first class is called as superclass, and based on the first class, if you are creating a second one, then the second one is called as inheriting class or subclass. Here, the relationship between the both the classes called as parent-child class. The base class is called as parent class, and the subclass is called as child class. So this is the relationship between the two classes of one program. Here, the mainly we are using the keyword extends. See the last point. The extends keyword is used to inherit the properties of one class to another class. We have to use the small letters for extends. No need to use any capital letter for all the letters or first letter, only in small letters. So this is the definition of inheritance. Next, we move to the next slide. This is a syntax for inheritance. Class, subclass name, extends, superclass name. And then inside the class, we can give methods and fields, right? So here the class is a keyword and subclass name is the class name for subclass, and extends is the keyword and superclass name is the base class name. Here the class name, we can give our own name, depends upon the program. For example, class B extends A. Here B is the superclass, subclass name, and A is called as base class name. And the keyword extend is used for inherit the properties of superclass to subclass. And inside the class name, we can give any methods and variables, whatever we need for this program, we can give it inside the loop of that program. Next, we move to the next slide. Here, the advantages of inheritance. Mainly, we are having three advantages here. One is first one is code reusability. Second, data hiding. Third one is overriding. What is code reusability? So code reusability is nothing but once you can create one code, and whenever and wherever we need that same code, we can reuse that code again and again. That is called code reusability. Suppose now you are going to create one program. In that program, you can have a number of lines. So in that same code, we need in another program. So suppose tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we are going to create a new concept or on new program. In that program, we need an existing code. We can reuse that. So that is the main advantages of inheritance. So that why we call it as a base class, subclass, and all. In subclass, we can extends the properties of base class, right? So a property is nothing but coding, already existing coding. So this is called as code reusability. So next, data hiding. So data hiding is nothing but data security. Suppose we want to hide some data from other users, we can hide by using some access specifiers. We are having access specifiers like private, public, protected. By using this access specifier, we can give rights to access the data from others. If you are allocating private for a method or any data, others cannot access except that a method or within the class itself, we can use the private members. So outside of that class, we cannot access the private members. Like that, we can give a data hiding. This is data hiding. Next, overriding. Override is nothing but, so in base class, we are creating some methods, and the definition of that methods, we can give it in some subclasses. So the implementations, we can perform any kind of implementation in its subclasses only. This is called overriding. The process of creating method is in one class, and the implementation of that same method in another subclass is called as overriding. Here we are I'm giving one example, base class .java. This is nothing but it's a Java file name. I have one program by using inheritance. So that program name is base class.java. So I'll execute this program in next class. Next, we move to the next slide, and the topic name is types of inheritance. Here we are having 4 types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, multiple inheritance. The first 3, single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, supported by inheritance in Java, and Java does not support the multiple inheritance. So directly we cannot execute multiple inheritance by using inheritance. So instead of using inheritance, we go for an interface. The support of interface, we can execute the multiple inheritance. So I'll explain you later. The first type is single inheritance. What is single inheritance? Here we can have only one base class and only one subclass is called as single inheritance. We can inherit or we can derive the data from one class to another class. That's all. So this is called single inheritance. Next, multi-level inheritance. So the multi-level inheritance means, see the definition, a derived class in turn acts as a base class for another class, right? So here, suppose you can have 3 classes like A, B, C, right? So in this A, B, C, 3 classes, we can have 2 levels. A and B is the first level, and B and C is the second level. In first level, A is act as a base class and B is act as a derived class. In second level, B and C, now the B is act as a base class and the C is act as a derived class. So in the both level, B is included. So in first level, B is a derived class, and in second level, B is act as the base class. So this is multi-level inheritance. In level by level, the class is changed, like a base class or a derived class, like that. It will change, depends upon the level. In first level, the second class act as a subclass. In second level, that class act as a base class, like that. This is multi-level inheritance. I'll explain you in detail when we are seeing a program. The third type is hierarchical inheritance. So one class serves as a superclass for more than one subclass. That means that means in this inheritance, we can have only one base class. Depends upon the one base class, we can create n number of subclasses is called as hierarchical inheritance. For example, we can have four classes A, B, C, D. Here the A is called as superclass and the B, C, D are act as a derived classes. Now the A property is available in B and the A property is available in C, and the A property is available in D also. So B, C, D, all these classes having the property of A. This is called hierarchical inheritance. Next, multiple inheritance. The multiple inheritance means here we can have multiple base classes. So take the same example, A, B, C, D. Here, A, B, C act as a base class, D is act as a derived class. Here in D class, we can have A's property, B's property, and C's property also. So this is called multiple inheritance, but here we cannot execute a multiple inheritance directly. So instead of that, we can have a interface. With the support of interface, we can execute a multiple inheritance. So when you are seeing interface topic, I'll explain you in detail about the multiple inheritance and how we are going to achieve the multiple inheritance by using interface this and all in a next chapter. Okay. Next, we'll move into example program. So this is an example program for single inheritance. See, here we are having two classes. The first class name is vehicle and the second class name is car. In first class, we are having one method. That method name is vehicle. So here the class name and the method name both are vehicle, both are same, right? So if it is both the class name and the method name is same means, then it is called as constructor. Okay, then it is called as constructor member. So in this method, we are giving one message. This is a vehicle system.out.println. Within that bracket, we are using the message. This is a vehicle. So now the base class is over. Next, we are creating another class name car. So here we are using the extends keyword. That's why the car is called as subclass. And here we are extending or inherit the class vehicle, right? So class car extends public vehicle. The class is car is a subclass and vehicle is the base class. Now, once the statement is executed, the property of base class is inherited into car. So inside the car, we are declaring a main method, public static void main string args. This is the main method. The execution of Java program is started here, right? So next line, we are creating object for which class? For car class. For subclass, we are creating a one object. That object name is called as obj is equal to new car, right? So what is the use of new? New is the memory allocation keyword. New is the memory allocation keyword for object. For newly created object, it is allocate the memory space for newly created object obj. Next, we got the output. This is a vehicle like that. So here we are not calling a method, any method, but we got a output. How? Because constructor, right? So the constructor, if you are having a constructor method in your program, when you are creating an object, automatically the constructor method is executed. Like that, also here the vehicle is the constructor. Once you created a object for car class, automatically the constructor executed. Actually, the constructor is available in base class. How then how you execute a vehicle method for creating a object for base class, sorry, subclass? because the base class is inherited into subclass. So that's why once you are creating object, automatically base class constructor method is executed, right? Next, the example program for multi-level inheritance. Here, we are having three classes. See, vehicle, the first class. Second class name is four-wheeler. And the third class name is car, right? So here, the vehicle is inherited into four-wheeler and the four-wheeler is inherited into car. Now, we are going to create one object. See, after public static void main, we have created one object obj. Once the obj is created, automatically all the methods are executed. How? Because in first class we are having a constructor method vehicle, and in second class also we are having a constructor method four-wheeler. That's why once the object is created, constructors are automatically executed. Okay. The first class properties available in second class and second class properties available in third class. The first class is called as vehicle. The vehicle is available inside the four-wheeler, and then the four-wheeler is inherited in car. So we can create an object for car class itself. It is enough for executing all the methods. Next, one second. Next on the example for a hierarchical inheritance. What is hierarchical inheritance? Here we are having only one base class and more than one derived class, right? Here the base class name is vehicle, and see the next class name is car, another class name is bus, right? So here we are having one base class and two derived classes. In both the derived classes, the vehicle is inherited, right? Vehicle is inherited. See, class car itself, in car class also we are extending the vehicle, and bus class also we are extending the vehicle. So in that way, the hierarchical inheritance is executed. So in public static void by main method C, we are creating two objects. One is for car, another one is for bus, right? So because here both data classes separate. So separately we are creating object and accessing the methods of base class. Next, access control. See, I already said that access specifier and access controller is same. Here, variable, the first point is variable declared public or protected in a superclass are inherited in subclasses. That means how we are going to access the methods from base class to subclass. For that, we need a support of access controls. There are three access controls are there. Mainly, there are three access controls are available. One is public, second protected, third one is private. So in first point, if the method or variable is declared as a public or protected in the superclass, that members only we can access in inheritance or subclasses. If it is declared as private, we cannot access that variables or methods in subclasses. See the second point, variables or methods declared as private in a superclass are not inherited at all. That means the private members we cannot access or we cannot bring outside of that class, right? This is second point. The third point is methods declared public in a superclass also must be public in all subclasses. Once you declared as a public, right? After that, if you move that variable or method to subclasses, in like a public, it is as a public only. So that is third point. In fourth point, methods declare protected. Instead of public, it is declared as protected in a superclass must either be protected or public. The protected members If you are accessing the protected members in subclasses, it may be public or protected. Sometimes it may be public or sometimes it may be a protected in subclasses. They cannot be a private. So this is the use of access control. The first point is, if it is public or protected, then only we can access in a subclasses. It may be public or protected. If it is private, we cannot access in other classes. If it is public in other class also, it is public. If it is protected in other classes, it may be public or protected. So this is the use of access control, right? So we will stop here. Remaining and all we will see in next class. Thank you. Thank you, students.